is the annual. So every year you have to make this change because the values change based on the calculation, right?
Okay.
So,
Are you showing your screen?
oh, probably not. Hold on just a minute. I tell you. Whoops. Hold on just a minute. Desktop, desktop, desktop. Okay, there it is. All right. Now you see it?
Yes.
Okay. So we're going to review the annual. So the annual you have to change every year because of the rates that are used in the calculation. And then you also have to change the monthly every year, but you just change that once. But because the annual, you kind of, once it's processed, you kind of forget about it, right? So you have to remember to come and change it. The
Okay.
only one, there's 3 steps. So there's 1, 2, and 3, right? But the only one that you need to change is in this one right here, the number 1.
Okay.
So in previously when we were with Tower processing this, we needed to use the accrual date to know their rehire date for calculation of the number of days they worked, right? So that's the part that I had to take out. And I realized that I didn't even think about that, but I realized it when I came to change the annual because I was comparing the two interfaces and I said, oh yeah, that's right. That accrual date process was ahead of this one. Then I had to think about why was that even there? And I said, oh, that's right. We changed that coming into SaaS environment. So I had to make some changes and I'll show you those. But
Okay.
worker type stays the same. All employees stays the same. These two here are creating files. These 3, sorry. All 3 of these are creating tables. So if we open it up and look, the output is a table.
Okay.
I'm basically selecting information, writing it to the table to read it back in for processing.
Okay.
So I'm doing it for that one, and I'm doing it for this one as well. This one is doing some calculations. So the calculations are always going to be done in the functions and variables end. So the annual is different because we're processing from January 1st through the 31st, but it's actually being processed earlier than the 31st. So we have to tell it, even though we're processing on a certain day, use the certain amount of days included in the whole year. So yes, you can come in and, format it so it can always know what day, what month, what day, what year it is. You're going to touch this anyway every year, so I just choose to just come in here and change the year.
Okay.
So next year you're going to change this to 21, right?
Okay.
So you're going to change it here and here. Here is where I had to tell it to, when I'm doing this part of the calculation, of course, I'm changing it to 2020. Next year, you'll change that just to 2021. So all you got to do is come in here and then make the change.
Okay.
Okay, and then with that, this is where that calculation is going to come in. It's going to go and find the number of days plus 1, because in this case, it's recognizing 365 days, but this year is a leap year. So
Yeah.
we have to tell it to add 1 more day. And so that's what this is.
Okay.
So even though it says 365, it really is 366. So next year, when you get ready to process, all you have to do is take this off. You're just literally going to right click and delete this. Or
Okay.
I think you can go in and can you disable it from here? Nope, you can't disable it. Just go ahead and delete it.
Okay.
So, and this is for leap years. Okay. So, and then that's how we're going to get that particular number. Again, it outputs to a table because we're going to go back and read that information per employee. So once we have per employee, their hire date, the end of year date, the date difference. So the difference between and then their begin date. So that's pretty much what we're looking for, that information. I'm gonna say no there. This is the one where you have to make a change in the, oh, was it this one? Oh, sorry, no, it's not this one. I'm gonna see what we're changing here. Nothing here. Here we go. The summary. Okay, this is where I was saying I made this one and this one extra files. Normally it was just the annual for SESI and the annual for VEJO. But because we have those COVID people that are terminated,
Yeah.
we don't want to send the terminated people to Morales because their data is not going to be correct because they're termed, right?
Yeah, correct.
So the calculation is not going to be nice for them. So
yeah, Adriana just asked me.
Yeah.
How can I help her?
Right. Yeah.
She's working like crazy with that.
I bet that poor thing. Well, yeah. So these are the two files that the process is going to use to read it and write the data to the time cards. These are just going to be out there for them to download and look at.
Okay.
And I'll tell you what I'm talking about. So, because I was running it left and right last week on Friday, just so I could get the data and look at the files. It wasn't inserting anything or sending anything, just running it to test the files, really.
Okay.
But I'll show you what I mean. We can look at the results. 19. Has it been on 18? Here we go. So if we look at this one right here, you'll notice when we go down to the bottom. So there's the annual for VEJO. That's the one the process will read back in. But then there's this terms one.
Okay.
Right. So here's the difference. So the normal one here is going to, doesn't have any data on it, probably because I overwrote it. Let me see if this at least have the headers on it. No. Okay. I'll show you from what I downloaded. Okay, so here it is right here. So this is the file that the process is going to read back in. It's going to take this one, the number of days, and what the payment is. So here's their payment right here. So I give additional information on the end. It doesn't read any of this, but this is for just troubleshooting. So it's using 366 days. And these people are all active. I want to make sure that they know that all these people are active, okay?
Okay.
If you look at the terms file, when it's used, they can download this, they can download any file. And then over here to the right, they can pull out and filter out all the people who are terminated.
Okay.
Now, I can't tell if they're terminated because of COVID or if they're terminated because of some other reason. So they'll have to do that due diligence themselves. But at least they can take this and just say, filter on terminated people and go through it that way.
Okay.
They'll at least
that would be very helpful for them.
Yeah. Right. They'll at least be able to see, okay, these are all the terminated people. I have their hire date, I have the number of days. And whatever they can do with it, they can do with it. Hopefully it'll help them a little bit because that was like 100 and something people, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's what I did. So I created these, I added those two in the annual process. Okay. So I'm going to close that. I'm not going to save anything now. Let's go look at the monthly process. The monthly process, again, it had that previous link that was looking for the accrual table to get the accrual information. So since I don't need that, I went and removed it. And then for this, instead of looking for the table and trying to find that accrual date, I just changed it to look for, just get the hire date, which is what now in SAS, we're loading in as the hire date. If they get rehired, it's going in as their hire date. Okay.
Okay.
So I changed that to look for hire date, and then of course put it here for the days difference, because we still look for that as well. Now in here, PC date -1. PC date -1. I thought we changed that. Hold on. Okay, here's where we said the month, the day. Okay, good. Okay, so here's where it needs to change every year. So in January, Hasiel should give you the new numbers. So you'll need to come and modify this and then this as well. These two.
Okay.
So that's the summary, the two summary files in step 1. The valid start date and the factor for the day value.
Okay.
So you literally just open it and you can click on it. This is the easiest way for it to do, and just double click and modify the value there. Go to that one, modify the value there. So I have to change those every year, and then I let them tell me what their calculation should be. You know, I know that they'll say, well, you know, here's the numbers, figure it out yourself, but that never works out. I let them tell me what that calculation should be. This way I know that it's right. So you're going to change that there. I didn't show you in the other one. So the summary, again, I created the file terms so they can have it for the monthly processing. So there's also a terms file for monthly in there. Let me go back over here to the annual. So it's always step 1 is the one that you're going to be doing your modifications in. Let's just look at this one. Here it is right here. So the values will be the same for the valid start, right? For the annual and the monthly. This is where it's different because of the number of days. So, and this is based on 366 days versus 365. So again, you'll have to change these for next year's processing. Now, they always processed in January for the annual. This is the first time they're doing it before. So that, yeah, so that kind of threw me off. That's why I was like, oh no, I got to change everything. So anyway, so those are the ones that are changed. But again, those are, I just need her to cherry pick the files and verify. So I sent her this one and this one for the annual, this one and this one for the monthly. And I literally just want her to go in, open it up, take a person that has some faltas and one that doesn't, and just kind of go through and literally calculate it on her own in her head. If she's got, you know, no faltas and the value is 1355, well, then she should be getting 1355 unless she had faltas, right?
Okay.
And if she had a full month of work. In this case, that person had 30. It gets a little bit sticky when you get people that are new hires. See, these are all new hires, 12/9, 12/9. So they're not going to have as many as days, right? Okay. Even though they may be new, they may be here, but the calculation is not going to do the whole, 30 days. It's only going to do what, 16, because that's only how many days they worked.
Okay. Can you go up?
Yes.
Why does people have more than 30 days? Or I mean, column N? No, column N. What is
this one here?
Yeah.
This is not days. This is the amount that they're getting.
Is that's the amount?
That's the
Okay.
value. That's the amount. Oh, this is
Oh,
days worked. Sorry. This is the number of days worked. So these are
number.
columns. Yeah, these columns are not used in the calculation. It's just information for you.
Yeah, but days work since when? Since
Since
they
they're
were
since their
hired?
hire date. Since their
Oh,
hire date.
okay, okay.
Since their hire date. So this guy, he's new since September, right? So he's literally only worked 88 days in the company.
Yeah.
And this guy obviously has been here longer. So this is the days worked since hire.
Okay.
Days in the process, meaning they're always 30 days in the process. That's their original hire date. And I put that there, old hire date, because there are some people that have been rehired. So I had to put this in here so that Josefina could make sure that rehires are being calculated based on their rehire date, not their old hire date. So I put that in there for her. And then status of 1 equals active, and then status of 3 is terminated. So these are all 1s.
Okay.
If I'm not outputting active, it's just 1 is active. So, yeah, this is the value that's going to be on get sent for the payment. The number of faltas. Okay. So that's basically what I need her, but I need her to do that pretty fast because if I need to make changes, I need to hurry up and make them if
Yeah,
something's
she's
wrong.
saying that she already sent you the.
She did? Did she just send it? Oh, there she is.
Yeah.
Use some example calculated correct for temporary and permanent regarding the rehires after I observed that it takes 2 days in the calculation, but I imagine is because the process was completed by Friday 18th, it would be missing 2 days. Yes, that's true. That's true. Yes, so I'm just gonna say you are correct. If good, then you can proceed to calculate.
Can you
Both.
copy me?
Yes, I'm gonna put your whole team on there in a minute.
Okay.
Both. Do the monthly first. Both processes. Do monthly first. All three steps. Do annual. Okay, so I'm going to copy Adriana and Alberto and Nancy and
Nestor.
and David.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you.
Welcome. All right. So again, it just took me a while because I needed to make sure that, and some of this, again, this is more information for you to look at to make sure everything is calculating. But the process uses all these things out here.
Okay.
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 So once she goes, she can go ahead and once she's done with if she wants to do the monthly first, all the way step 1, step 2, step 3, and then she can do the annual, and then obviously if anything's wrong, she should let me know right away. All right.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Well, I have a meeting with Spartan with my other company. I have a meeting at 2 p.m., which would be your 1 p.m.
Okay.
I'll be there for an hour, but then after that, I should be okay if something goes wrong.
Okay. I hope it won't.
I hope it won't either.
Okay.
Yeah, because you know what? Because last year, Josefina ran the annual, and she just ran it and sent it and the whole 9 yards, but didn't really look at the data. And that's when we found out the wrong calculations were used. So we had to offset by creating new files with whatever the remaining calculation was, that portion, and it was a hot mess. So that's why I want Martha to look at the annual and really make sure that it's calculating correctly for the groups.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay. I'll
All
let
right.
you know if she had any
Okay.
issues. Okay.
Okay. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
You're welcome. Bye.